Okay, we're letting Ken get a little bit of a head start here. Working with a dark color, he's going to have to take more steps than I will on my light color to bring it up to a matte finish. But what I want you to see, what do we want to show him, Ken?
Notice there's no dust.
No dust, that's right. There's no dust. That's because he's using the Festool Rotex standard. Now, are you in the random orbit mode?
Yes, I am.
So notice that he's going back and forth in both directions, and then he'll probably finish up by going kitty corners. All right? Come on now, Ken. All right, I'm going to start sanding as well. And what grit are you using on there?
This right here is 80 micron.
80 micron.
Which is roughly the equivalent of 180 grit.
Okay, and I'm going to start with a 220.
Okay.
And I'm going to switch over to random orbit mode.
This is something really good to use when you're using a vacuum sanding system like this. This is a dust removal disc. It's just a cloth pad perforated with holes. This is made by Yost, and I want you to watch how well it takes the dust off of this work. When you're sanding a top, especially a dark one like this that we're going to take to a high gloss, it is very critical that between each step you remove all of the dust and broken media of your sandpaper.
Right.
So now I'm all set to go to my next grit, which will be, this is 60 micron. One of the real nice benefits to Yost sandpaper is it's totally perforated on the bottom, so you don't have to take the time to line up the holes when you're putting your paper on. This I have to be more careful of. I have to line all the holes up. I'm being very careful to overlap about, maybe anywhere from 30 to 25% on every pass.
Now I'm going to take a little gamble here, and I'm going to jump from a 220 right to a 500 grit. On a color like this is what we call an easy sanding color, and we should be able to get this to a matte finish in just 2 steps.
It's really important when you sand, not only am I getting clear overlap, but I'm not sanding the same direction every time. It's really beneficial to constantly change direction because that prevents a pattern from being formed. So I've gone front to back, side to side, and then I'm running a diagonal as part of the 4 times that I'm going to do. Each sheet, every sanded product, you should go 4 times in different directions. Okay. That was 60 micron. And again, I'm going to apply my cloth cleanup pad. A lot of people will blow this off, and just blowing it off really doesn't clean it up. You really need to apply suction and friction.
Now I've got to clean this up, but what we've got right here now is actually a very acceptable matte finish. Now, when I use the term matte finish with a 500 grit, if we had a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being dull, 10 being gloss, what we've got is a 500 grit is going to put you at about a 4 to a 5 on that scale. And what I actually like to do is go to a 6. But while Ken's sanding the next one, I'm going to use the dust removal pad, take off my dust, and then I'm going to go to a 600, and I'm going to show you the difference. And I think I'm going to put on my earmuffs here. That's a little better.
Now I'm sanding with the 30 micron. Once again, as you can see, I'm overlapping each one of my passes. And I'm going to do each one 4 times. I've already gone north and south. I've gone east and west. And now I'm doing my diagonal.
Okay, now I don't know if you can get a good shot of this. You probably can't. So you're going to have to kind of trust us that we've got a nice matte finish here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to a 600, which is going to put us just a little bit on the shiny side of a matte finish. And personally, I prefer this one. And I think you will too when you see the difference. Now this is going to bring up just a little bit of shine. For most applications, obviously, you don't want a lot of shine. Although some people do want a nice shiny finish, and that's what we're going to be showing you in the last segment, is the Danny polishing system. Now again, in a color like this, it's an easy sand. Now, we have a matte finish on this, but I also want to show you what happens when you take this to just a little bit more by wetting this top down, and this particular product, including the blue, can be used wet. So we're just gonna wet this down. Now this is gonna get you a little bit shinier and a lot more uniform finish. So on this last coat, I think you'll really impress your customer if you end up with a finish like this with the 600 grit. It kind of just meshes everything together and gives you a nice uniform finish. Now you don't have to go with a wet finish. You can do it dry. It just depends on what you're looking for in the way of a finish. But as you can see, you're getting a little bit more shine out of this, and that's just because of the lubrication. But that's great. Now one thing I do want to mention also is that if we were really working on this top, we would be using the Circare Tetrad. We'd be done with both of these tops right now, but that was not the purpose of tonight's show. It was more about the sanding and finishing of just a small top.